Tragedy on the Red River tonight as several teenagers are confirmed drowned and the search continues for more. I'm Fred Childers. Coming up, I'll have a live report.
And more extreme heat is headed our way. I'll have the numbers for you. They're coming up in your sizzling Storm Tracker 12 forecast.
Plus, 15 cooling centers will soon open in Shreveport for families looking to beat the heat. We'll let you know where they are. Coverage you can count on starts right now.
This is KSLA News 12 at 10. Coverage you can count on.
And we start tonight with some sad breaking news to report. At least 4 teenagers are dead tonight after drowning in the Red River, and emergency crews are looking for more possible victims. It happened just after 7:30 tonight on a sandbar beneath the Jimmy Davis Bridge near the Red River. Now, KSLA News 12 was the first station on air to tell you about this breaking news. Our Fred Childers is still on the scene on the Shreveport side of the Red River. He's live with the very latest. And Fred, have they recovered any more victims?
Actually, Shannon, they have. We just heard from the Caddo Parish Sheriff's Office that the total now is 5 victims of that drowning here on the Red River. And dive teams are still in place out here on the Red River. We're told by Fire Chief Brian Crawford that they'll remain here all night until they find that other teen. Again, there is one more teen that is unaccounted for reportedly here this afternoon. And they'll be here all night looking for that teenager. The news of this tragedy has obviously affected a lot of friends and family. Of those 6 teenagers, we're told that 7 of them went in, ranging in age from 13 to 18 years old. Emergency crews from all over the region responded to Hamill Memorial Park around 5 o'clock. They say that's when 7 of the teenagers went into the water, then began screaming.
The water, it appeared very shallow to them, and then all of a sudden they say the ground underneath them in the water was like a big hole, and all of a sudden it was too deep. They had one life jacket here, and as you can imagine, everybody started yelling for help. Nobody could swim, and there were some other people that were nearby on the banks that jumped in that were not with their party that tried to assist.
And again, 7 teenagers went in. We're told that one of those teenagers was rescued, fortunately, but unfortunately there are 5 of them confirmed dead and one of them is still unaccounted for. The fire department says they are in recovery mode at this point, and again they say that the dive teams will remain here all night if they have to, looking for that other teenager. And of course we'll bring you the latest as it develops. Reporting live in Shreveport, Fred Childers, KSLA News 12.
And we have more video you'll see only on KSLA News 12. Our cameras were rolling right across the river. This video was shot from Arthur Ray Teague Parkway. That's on the Bossier side. Now you can see several emergency responders on the banks of the Red. Caddo Sheriff's Office, the Shreveport Fire Department, the Caddo Coroner's Office, and the dive team worked past sundown in this rescue attempt. Now there were several boats in the water as well. Just a really tragic night for an entire family and everyone else involved. Now, when we first found out about the drownings, KSLA News 12 sent out a breaking news email alert. We also tweeted it and put it on our Facebook page. Now, you can sign up for breaking news alerts at our website. That's KSLA.com, or you can find us on Twitter and Facebook. Stay with us. Later in this newscast, we'll have another live update from the scene of that breaking news. With multiple days of temperatures reaching the triple-digit, city leaders and law enforcement agencies in Shreveport are teaming up to try to beat the heat. Several officials turned out for a news conference today for a big announcement. Starting at 8 a.m. Tuesday, 15 cooling centers will open their doors. Now, this is the first time this type of effort has been made citywide. The cooling centers will be located inside spa recreational centers and are open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. From now until the end of this newscast, you'll see the locations scrolling across the bottom of your screen. They're also listed on our website. That's KSLA.com. And for more on the record heat, we go to Storm Tracker 12 meteorologist Barack Shapiro. When can we get some relief, Barack?
Yeah, it's not going to be till the latter half of this work week before we actually start to see the numbers kind of fade out of the triple-digit weather. We did have a record broken today. That was in Minden, topping out at 106 degrees. The old record was 103 back in 08, so a 2-year-old record. Where do we stand right now? Well, first, we still have that heat advisory in place, and you can see for all of the counties and parishes right here highlighted, meaning it'll feel like 105 to 110. For tomorrow, the spots that you see that are not highlighted for Union, for Lincoln and Jackson, those are under, you guys are under an extreme or excessive heat warning, meaning that for tomorrow it could feel as hot as 110 to 115. Temperatures right now still pretty hot. 91 in Shreveport, 92 in Texarkana. It is 88 in Nacogdoches, 89 in Mount Pleasant. Factoring in the humidity, still feels like it's in the 90s and even 100s. Will tomorrow be as hot as today, or will we be the same? We'll talk about it coming up in your Storm Tracker 12 forecast. Shannon.
All right, thanks so much, Barack. Now to the KSLA News 12 crime tracker. Police are still looking for the person who shot and killed a 16-year-old boy last night around 6:30. Police say a passerby discovered Samuel Anderson near the intersection of Audrey Lane and Thomas Howard Drive. He was shot several times in the chest and lower body. Anderson's mother says he had problems with others in the neighborhood for the past 5 years, and she reported them to the police several times.
I done called and made reports after reports after reports, and Shreveport police always tell me, Miss Anderson, we're going to take care of it. Miss Anderson, we're going to take care of it, but they never did.
Now, police did make an arrest in at least one case reported by Mrs. Anderson. They are still investigating her son's murder. Now, since the start of 2010, there have been 22 murders in the city of Shreveport. This is a map of where they all took place. The greatest concentration is in the west and southwest area of the city, but of course homicides and other violent crimes are not limited to just those areas. KSLA News 12 has learned that Councilman Brian Woolley will talk about his plan to curb crime in Shreveport tomorrow. Woolley is a candidate in the race for mayor of Shreveport. We'll be at that news conference at 10 a.m. Tune in to all editions of KSLA News 12 for the very latest on this. The Arkansas Forestry Commission is mourning the loss of one of its own. 25-year-old Chris Adams was a ranger and firefighter in Lafayette County. Adams was killed in a rollover accident early this morning. The tractor trailer he was driving rolled over on Highway 360 about 1/2 mile east of Highway 29. No word yet on what caused that accident. An Arklatex soldier is killed during Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan. 25-year-old Sergeant Kyle Stout from Texarkana, Texas, died last Friday after his unit was killed by an IED attack. And President Obama told a group of disabled veterans all U.S. combat troops are coming home from Iraq on schedule.
This month, we'll have brought more than 90,000 of our troops home from Iraq since I took office.
Other soldiers will remain to help train the Iraqis and protect U.S. bases. The latest CBS News poll shows most Americans think things are going well in Iraq, but even those who don't say it's time to pull out. Continuing coverage now of a fire that tore through a local high school. Officials say the building at Texarkana, Arkansas High School was set to be remodeled and wasn't being used this school year. 3 classrooms were burned and the hallways blackened. The fire marshal says there were 3 points of origin for the fire. Officials are also looking at surveillance tapes to try to identify 2 suspects seen entering the building before the blaze started. Now, if you signed up for our breaking news alerts, you received the very latest developments on this story. You can sign up for breaking news alerts for your email and cell phone on our website. Just go to KSLA.com and sign up under Get Social with KSLA on our homepage. And right now we want to go back out to KSLA News 12's Fred Childers, who's out on the Red River, the site of the multiple drownings. Fred, what do you have for us?
Well, Shannon, we're awaiting an update from Fire Chief Brian Crawford. We were just speaking to him a minute ago, and he said that he will come up here with an update. We were told just a few minutes ago that another teen has been recovered, so that would bring the total up to 5. And we're told that there is one more teen out there that could be the update. We just don't know at this point. And we thought he was ready to come up here and talk to us, but it appears that he's still trying to get some of his ducks in a row. We'll take a quick break and come back with that update as soon as we get it.
All right, thanks so much, Fred. We'll check in with you a little bit later. But first, you're watching coverage you can count on for Eastwood, Edgefield, and Emerson.
It is still pretty warm outside, but like you will see later on through Skycam 12, the rain is falling down. Do we have any chances for rain, though, that are headed our way? Find out in your Storm Tracker 12 forecast. You're watching KSLA News 12 at 10.
Back to that breaking news we've been telling you about. A day of fun in the sun turned to tragedy for a Shreveport family after at least 5 of their loved ones drowned in the Red River. That's where we find KSLA News 12's Fred Childers live with the very latest. Fred, what do you have?
Well, Shannon, we're getting an update from the fire chief. He just informed us that all 6 of the teams have been recovered, and we'll listen to what he has to say now.
When the firefighters arrived on the scene, there was one SPD officer, chief, that as soon as they got back to the area where the family was screaming for help, the SPD officer, without life vest or thought for his own safety, dove in to the water. The firefighters, 4 of them likewise, commandeered vests from a boat that was nearby, dove in to try and do everything that they could to save what they thought was maybe 1, maybe 2, with no idea exactly the fact that we had 6 individuals that were trying to be rescued. And so I just want to, as a commander for the fire department, I see my guys do brave stuff every day. And to see the public safety of both the police and the fire department, Caddo Sheriff's Office, and everybody else that was involved in here tonight and coming together really as a community public safety agency speaks volumes to the citizens and what they have in these agencies who protect and watch over them. This is an unfortunate incident, but there's a lot of valuable lessons that we'll be going over and over and over about the dangers of putting yourself into a position where if you can't swim and you're in a waterway that you're unfamiliar with. And CSO talked about it earlier, the unfamiliarization of the waterways. The Red River is clay laden, and so it's got embankments that are incredibly steep, and even the ones here, according to the divers that I spoke to, even one at a 45-degree angle, when your feet hit it, it's so slippery with silt you can't get any tractions, and once you hit that grade and you can't swim, there's no chance that you're not going to go into the water and your chance of survival. And so I caution anyone who is going to participate in activities on the Red River. Certainly, it's a great navigable waterway that we use for recreation in our area, and rightfully so. We ski on it, we boat on it, we tube on it, people swim on it. But, going into the water and not being able to swim, not having proper flotation devices, even if you're in, 3 or 4 feet of water, if you hit one of those slippery embankments, a fate could await you similar to what's happened here tonight, unfortunately. And so our sympathies, our prayers. Again, firefighters and police officers deal with these types of things every day. I can honestly say in my 26 years in the fire service, I've never seen anything quite to this magnitude. I've never even heard of 6 individuals drowning at the same time in any waterway other than a boat going down. So as you can imagine, our people are taking it very hard, seeing those 6 young people come out of the water the way that they're coming out. And we've set up, along with the families, counseling efforts to our chaplain services, both with fire and police, to talk to them. And we'll be talking with them along with the family over the next couple of days. And so that's where we are now. We'll probably be on scene. We've got a lot of equipment that's down at the waterway. We'll be getting it out via boat, and we'll be having to actually pack it out on the backs of firefighters and police officers and sheriffs and people like that to get it out of here. And so we'll probably be here for another couple of hours until midnight. We do plan on holding another joint press conference in the morning at approximately 10 o'clock at Government Plaza, 2nd floor, Mayor's Conference Room, just to give some more detail and possibly some closure to this incident. And the agencies that have been represented here tonight will, of course, be there to answer any detailed questions that you might have.
Chief, can I ask him about these 6 kids? You said this earlier. You said that one had gone in and was having trouble, and these people were actually trying to save his lives. They gave their lives trying to save a friend.
Well, I think from the detailed reports that we got from the witnesses, and CSO can maybe speak to this more than I can, I spoke to the stepfather of several of the children, and they had ventured off to a place that he was familiar with and believed when one of them started going down, the other one's trying to grab, or they're trying to grab them, and it was kind of a domino effect when they hit what we is speculating to believe was some type of embankment of that slippery slope. They started to slip, one grabbing the other one trying to save the other one, and then 7 individuals are in peril. Fortunately, There were some people that were on the beach, good Samaritans, that came to the rescue, were able to grab one of the individuals and pull them to safety. And again, that's great work by the citizens of our community. That, you know, something they didn't have. They expect us to do it, but you know, we don't expect them to do it. And so we're certainly talking with them as well. They're shook up as well, and this is going to be something that the community is going to have to deal with, not just tonight, but tomorrow and in days to come. There's going to be a lot of questions as to why and how it can be prevented, and certainly the Mayor's Office of Public Safety will be trying to address that with Caddo Sheriff Steve Prater, Caddo Commission Council, and those types of things. I certainly hope I never see anything like this again in my career.
Mayor Cedric Glover, what would you say to those families tonight?
Well, I want them to know that I and Veronica and all the city of Shreveport, and I think anybody out there who is aware of this tragedy, that we're praying for them, that we've got them lifted up in prayer. We've got them surrounded with, I think, some great prayer warriors. We've had some tremendous men of God, men and women of God who've been out here tonight counseling with these families, supporting them, also praying for and supporting and counseling with these first responders. As the chief just mentioned, these men and women came out and they just simply did their jobs. But they also have to deal with the fact that they're going to wake up at some point tonight and realize that there were 6 children whose lives have been lost, and that they had to deal with the aftermath of that. And so we're praying for them as well. We're going to assess what needs to be done to help to support this family as they transition through this. Obviously, there are going to be some tremendous needs that may have to be met. We want to be there, hopefully to help rally the community to address those as well. And then we're also going to focus on how it is that we go about making sure that we educate the community on the danger that exists in this type of location, and that this is not a lake, this is not a swimming pool. This is a very dangerous set of circumstances that can result in the type of tragedy that we've all seen here today. And I don't think I will ever forget August 2nd, 2010 for as long as I live, and I hope that it will serve as a lesson, as a precept for those families, those children, those men and those women out there to understand that this can be a very dangerous river that can result in the kind of circumstances that we've seen here tonight.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you all.
All right, there you have it. The mayor extending to those families, the victims and the families, some condolences, and hoping, obviously, to impart some comfort to them, which is obviously going to be a very difficult job. Again, just to bring you up to date, earlier this afternoon, we had 7 kids go into the Red River. They all began screaming as they slipped down into a slope, a hole. We're told that one of them was rescued, and throughout the night, the other 6 have been recovered. The Shreveport Fire Department, the dive teams, they were prepared to stay here all night to find those remaining 2. But again, just over this past hour, those remaining 2 have been recovered. And of course, we'll have much more on this in the morning. You heard there's a press conference at 10 o'clock at the mayor's office, and we'll have more on this as it develops. Reporting live in Shreveport, Fred Childers, KSLA News 12.
All right, thanks so much, Fred. Definitely a story none of us want to report on. All right, stay with us. We'll be right back after this. All right, thanks so much, Adria. Yeah. Well, KSLA News 12 is staying on top of breaking news tonight. 6 teenagers have been confirmed dead after drowning in the Red River. Stay with us. We'll have another live report after this break. Back now with more breaking news. We've been following the story from the very start, the drowning deaths of 6 teenagers in the Red River. Our Fred Childers is still on the scene. He's live now with the very latest. Fred.
Yeah, Shannon, you can see behind me there, the emergency crews are still out here, but that search has been concluded as they have found the last of those 6 children that waded out into the Red River earlier this afternoon. We're told about 5 o'clock. They began playing in the water and then slipped down into a hole. We're told that there were 7 of them. One of them was actually rescued by someone who was standing by. The other 6 have been confirmed drowned. There were 2 of them earlier actually just within the past hour that they were still looking for, and we were told by the Shreveport Fire Department Chief Brian Crawford that search has continued, and those other 2 teens have been found, and all 6 have drowned. They say this was a very strange accident that has happened, and they'll be looking into it more, and there'll be more information on this tomorrow morning. There will be a press conference down at the mayor's office, and of course we'll cover that for you and bring you the latest. Reporting live in Shreveport, Fred Childers, KSLA News 12.
All right, thank you so very much, Fred. And that 10 a.m. news conference that Fred just mentioned to discuss further what happened, we will be streaming that live on our website. That's KSLA.com as soon as it begins at 10 a.m. Switching gears right now to weather. What can we expect overnight and tomorrow morning?
Overnight will be quiet. It's just going to be pretty warm. Temperatures will fall off into the upper 70s. For your Tuesday afternoon, as hot as today, could be a notch higher. If we hit 104, that will break the old record, or tie it actually, which is right now at 104. And then it doesn't look like the weather will go back into the 90s until Friday, where we might have a slight risk of rain there. I'm not ready to put it on the map. I'm hoping tomorrow the information continues to suggest that, and maybe a 20% chance. But hey, any rain at this point, take it.
Yes, and we're still under a heat advisory?
And we're under that heat advisory through tomorrow. If it gets extended, that will depend on how much humidity stays in the atmosphere. Right now, it looks like they may just leave it in for your Tuesday. Nonetheless, 199,
it's just
still
too hot.
Yeah.
I know.
It's August in the
miserable.
Arklatex. Yeah, so hopefully in 2-3 weeks it's out of here.
I know. Let's hope so. Remember, if you are having trouble trying to beat the heat. I'm having trouble speaking. 15 cooling centers in Shreveport. Go to our website, KSLA.com, for the locations. We'll see you back here at 5 a.m. Have a good one.
Okay, hello, ma'am. Can you hear me? Hello?
The dramatic 911 calls from Monday night's drowning of 6 teenagers have been released. You'll hear part of the tragedy unfold.
Fire investigators say surveillance video and some social bragging helped them track down the suspects in a high school arson.
Parts of the Arklatex have been downgraded to a heat advisory. Definitely some good news. I'll show you those parishes and counties coming up in your Storm Tracker 12 forecast.
Coverage you can count on starts right now.
This is KSLA News 12 at 10. Coverage you can count on.
We have more on the tragic drowning of those 6 teenagers on the Red River on Monday. Good evening. I'm Shannon Royster.
And I'm Fred Childers. Thanks for joining us tonight. This edition of KSLA News 12 at 10 is streaming live online at KSLA.com.
Now, 911 tapes during that terrifying moment have been released and detail a lot of confusion and horror as witnesses try to get help.
After just seeing 6 teenagers slip off into a 25-foot drop-off in the Red River, panicked friends and family began calling 911.
This is 911, but what do you need?
We got 3 people drowning. We need 911.
Okay, ma'am, you have 3 people what?
Drowning in the lake.
After several attempts, the operator was able to get a more clear answer, but finding them would prove more difficult. In the confusion that often follows a tragic event, the callers struggled to tell the operator their exact location.
All right, were y'all south of the bridge, south of Jimmy Davis Bridge?
We south of the bridge. We south of it.
Okay, all right, but you're on
Jimmy Davis Bridge.
Huh?
We on Jimmy Davis Bridge.
Okay, you're like under the bridge?
The sand, yeah.
But they weren't under the Jimmy Davis Bridge. They were actually at Hamill Memorial Park. The Shreveport Fire Department says the confusion would also lead them upstream about a half mile to Stoner Boat Launch. Another 911 caller would give a more accurate location.
How close are y'all to the bridge?
We're right here. What's the fucking name? Mary Charles, and Charles, Hamill Memorial.
Mary and Charles.
Yes, ma'am.
Once a location was determined, the fire department rushed to Hamill Memorial Park. Dive teams began searching for the 6 teens immediately.
You have to imagine the depths at which the bodies were found at during the recovery efforts later on was somewhere around 25 feet. And so there was no way that a rescue could have been made once those individuals had slipped that far below the Red River surface.
But the dive teams would find all 6 drowned and more than 20 feet of water. And we want to mention those tapes were also provided to the victims' families prior to their release to the media.
Now we know more about the funeral arrangements for some of the victims on the Red River. Now, viewing for the Stewart Blaylock and Warner families is scheduled for Friday at the Praise Temple Full Gospel Cathedral on Greenwood Road from 5 to 7. The Stewart Blaylock funeral is Saturday at 2 p.m. at Morning Star Baptist Church on Jewella Avenue.
The Warner funeral is Saturday at 3 p.m. at the Praise Temple Full Gospel Cathedral. You can find this information on our website.
And calls have been pouring into our newsroom from people wanting to help the two families during this difficult time. Now Shreveport's Federal Credit Union has opened accounts for public donations to both families.
Each account was opened with $1,500, and the credit union will match all donations dollar for dollar. We have contact information for the Shreveport Federal Credit Union on our website at KSLA.com.
Storm Tracker 12 first weather. We track storms.
So you know how I was talking about that we were at the top of that mountain with the hottest of this weather, and now we're going down to the downward side, things getting a little bit better? This is proof that things are starting to get a little better. What you're seeing are on the red side, the excessive heat warnings staying in effect through Thursday. That goes for Natchitoches, Wynne, Lincoln, Jackson, as well as Bienville, also Claiborne and Union Parish and County, meaning that it'll feel anywhere from 110 to 115. But everything west under a heat advisory, meaning 105 to 110. Nonetheless, still pretty bad out there, so if you're going to be out and about, make sure you are definitely taking some of those precautions, trying to stay hydrated if you're going to be out and about. Even at this time, we still have a few spotty showers in the southern zones and eastern zones of the Arklatex, and they are moving off to the north and west around the Quitman and Hodge area. I will track those for you coming up in your full KSLA Storm Tracker 12 forecast. But nonetheless, Shannon, looking at slightly better weather as we go through the next couple of days.
All right, that's good to hear, Barack. Now, we want to mention that many of your family members and friends might be having a hard time seeing us right now. Please let them know we are streaming this broadcast live on KSLA.com. Now, it's because of a problem with our transmitter that's being worked on now.
Our sincere apologies if they're missing KSLA News 12 programming because of it. Remember, you can always watch CBS programming online. Just go to KSLA.com. In the upper right corner, click Programming. Then there's a link to where you can watch all the most up-to-date episodes of your favorite shows.
Now, in the meantime, we hope to get back on the air for all of our viewers very, very soon.
On the crime tracker, a Shreveport woman is in jail after allegedly filing a false police report. 24-year-old Amanda Matthews is accused of faking her report of an armed robbery at the El Dorado Casino parking garage last Friday. She said a black male suspect had robbed her at gunpoint in a stairwell. Matthews admits to fabricating the story. A candidate in the running for the Caddo Parish School Board has been arrested for practicing law after he was disbarred. Ronnie K. Banks Sr. is also charged with felony theft. Banks was arrested at his office in the 4700 block of Hearn Avenue.
We've been staying on top of the developments in SWEPCO's coal-fired power plant in Hempstead County. And in a KSLA News 12 follow-up, groups opposed to the plant are asking a federal judge to temporarily halt its construction while he considers whether to stop the project. Attorneys for Audubon, Arkansas and the Sierra Club are seeking a temporary restraining order. Attorneys for a hunting club say the plant will harm nearby forests.
When students return to Louisiana's public colleges this month, they'll be slapped with some larger bills. Tuition is going up between 8% and 10% at all four-year campuses and two-year community colleges. It's due to a newly passed law that allows the hikes in exchange for promises of improved performance.
And keeping you up to date in our Campaign 2010 coverage, documents and interviews are raising new conflict questions for Democratic nominee for governor of Texas, Bill White. They show White played a greater role than he's previously acknowledged in a billing dispute involving a company he recommended to help the region following Hurricane Rita. The former Houston mayor says he didn't personally benefit from his actions on behalf of BTEC.
Arkansas Senators Blanche Lincoln and Mark Pryor say they will back President Barack Obama's nominee for the Supreme Court. A Senate vote on Elena Kagan's nomination is scheduled for tomorrow. She's on track for an easy nomination.
You are watching coverage you can count on for Latex, Lucky, and Long Branch.
2 arrests have been made in an Arklatex school fire. We'll let you know how social media led to their capture.
Plus, a big decision has been overturned in California, and now the case could make its way all the way to the Supreme Court. We'll explain.
And there have been a few storms to pop up in the Arklatex. You won't see them here, though, through Skycam 12. It's very quiet over the Shreveport nighttime skyline. But where is it raining? I'll show you coming up in your Storm Tracker 12 forecast.